Hello everyone and welcome back to EML. This is for the final round of the season. Finally, we're here again for Abu Dhabi. Last week we was here originally for the final round, but unfortunately we had some issues with setting up the lobby, and I think we had a couple of desync issues as well. But today we are back, and today, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will crown the EML PC Challenge Cup champions. We've got a whole grid set up because luckily we didn't have to redo qualifying, so we're going to go straight into the race on the hour, I think, depending on if we can get everyone in. And we have a little look at the starting grid for today. There we are. So, obviously, there is a couple of changes, which we'll talk through as we go down. But obviously, Zelenkiewicz took pole. He's race for ET8. Then we have Kodon Ingolo and Ishmael Fassi starting second and third for FVR. As it stands, if they was to finish like this, then FVR and TF would be level on points. But I believe that TF would win on count back of wins. And then we obviously got Taiko Legend fourth and sixth. We have Team Bayer, who's starting in fifth, and Yane Tripkov in ninth for Shizou. Obviously, Tim took in place for the driver who drove last week. I'm not quite sure who that was. And Rishan Jacob starts seventh. His teammate Dylan Warren, who's stepping in for Nico Mateo. Dylan's obviously starting down in 17th. That was where Javier Fernandez qualified last week. So unfortunate for TF10 having one of their drivers starting in 17th. But we know Dylan Warren, he's a very quick driver when it comes to race pace. So I'm sure he'll be able to make some sort of strategy work. Looking further down, see ET8's second driver, Phil McKee, starts in 8th position. We look further down, TV8 start 10th and 14th, so that's a great qualifying for them. Obviously, they're normally near the back of the field. Pardon me. So to have a driver in the top 10 is really good for their start. QRT also starting 11th and 15th. Having someone in 11th for QRT is also great as well, considering they're last in the championship, currently 1 point behind TTL. And TTL start 12th and 20th. So not fortunate at all for Charles Sutton, but Alex Hodgson having a good qualifying rookie, and Julio Figuera 13th and 19th. So they're having a pretty normal qualifying for NLR. And then the final team to look at, we've got Victor Santana and Alex Lafute, who will be starting 15th and 18th. So probably the worst qualifying combined, like on average for FFC. Both of them starting the bottom 5. But hopefully we see some great action near the top. Obviously, we'll have lots of battling, I think, between first and sixth. Obviously, Legend will be looking to try and get through on Tim as soon as possible to help his teammates. We've had some changes, though, and Tygo Hardy isn't racing. Instead, we've got Jerry Van Bussel, who I believe doesn't race on the PC platform that much. He's always been a bit of a PlayStation player, so it's nice to see him jumping in the seats. Then we look at the standings. So I've worked it out. My maths probably isn't correct, but hopefully it is. TF need to score 41 points to guarantee it. So if they score 41 points, then no matter where anyone else finishes, they win the title. FVR, if they want to win, they need to outscore TF by 15 points. TF10, if they want to win, they need to outscore TF Talent Factory by 26 points, and then also need to outscore FVR by 12. Then finally, ET8 actually are still in it. They need to outscore TF10 by 22 points, FVR by 33 points, and TF by 47. So the chance of them winning is very unlikely. It'd be more of a case of ET8 finishing 1-2, and then TF10, TF, and FVR not scoring any points at all, which obviously isn't possible because there's points for every team 1st to 19th. And I think we are about to get beginning. I think we are. We've got 17 in the lobby, so I'm just waiting for a few more to get sorted. And obviously, we'll look at the point system quickly before we go into obviously first 30, second 25, third 20. So that goes down in 5 point increments. Then we go down by 3 for 4th is 17, then 2 for 5th with 15. Then after that, 6th down to 19th, you go down in increments of 1, 14 all the way down to 1. Then obviously 20th score 0 points. So obviously that should, compared to some of the, because obviously you see some leagues that will do like first gets 15, then it goes all the way down to 10th, you get 1. This league takes it a bit more different, so it also encourages the drivers to continue to race as well. So if you get, just say you're driving in 4th, you get took out, you drop down to 13th, you're still going to take 7 points. So, you know, it's not all over if you have a bit of an incident or you make a mistake. And finally, before we get going in, because we've got 19 in, we'll take a look at the tracks. Obviously, here we're here at Abu Dhabi, Yas Island, I believe it is, part of the United Arab Emirates. And here we are, the Yas Marina, I think, is it Yas Marina Street Circuit or Yas Marina Bay Circuit? One of the two. But it's a really fantastic circuit. Obviously, we've seen many grandstand finishes in the IRL F1 titles here. 17 corners, 2 DRS zones. The first DRS zone down towards turn 6 and 7 at the chicane. Then the second DRS zone down to the newly modified section at turn 9, which obviously used to be that whole chicane section. Now it's just a long, as you can see on there, a long left-hander all the way around. Then you come through into turn 10. Obviously, turn 1, bit of an, well, I suppose it's easy there to invalidate your lap times and get penalties. It's really easy just to go off track there. Then you charge up through in towards turns 2 and 3, pretty simple part of the track. Then down in towards turn 5, the hairpin, which you've got to be very careful there because people somehow seem to spin very easily on that exit. I've seen many times. Then you charge down the long DRS straight down towards turn 6 and 7. That chicane, you've got to be very careful here. We see many overtakes try and happen, but a lot of the time it ends up people going off at the exit of turn 7. And then you come through turn 8, which isn't really much of a corner, but it's a bit of a kick to the left. Then you charge down with the DRS yet again down in towards turn 9. You swoop the car into the inside, and then you go through there. Exit, you've got to be very careful not to go wide and spin because it's very easy to bottom out on that curb on the exit. Then you charge through towards turns 10, 11, and then 12. That's another very difficult section. It's very easy to lock up into turn 12. We've seen many drivers do it. Then you come through turn 13 and 14, which I call the TP section, which you've got to be very careful on the power there because it's very easy just to lose there a little bit much because of the way the corner's designed. Then you have turn 15, which didn't used to be flat out, but now it is. And then finally, the last corner, turn 16, which is yet again, pretty easy to go wide. Many drivers do so. It's also easy to lose the rear, but it's a place where we see many drivers win championships because it's the final corner of the F1 calendar. IRL, obviously, we've seen many different championships winning here, haven't we? We had the 2012 Grand Prix here where we saw, I think, 4 drivers fighting for the championship. We had the 25th, well, obviously we've had 14 all the way through to 20. We had the 2016 where Nico won, 2021 where Max won in that controversial ending, and many of the ones where Lewis won, he kind of won about 3 races before. So many of Lewis's championships didn't actually get won here because he would have won them 3 races beforehand. Yeah, obviously great track, especially for a season finale here as well. We've got 3 teams fighting for it, so we've got 6 drivers technically. Because I wouldn't class ETA in the hunt; they technically are, but the chance of that is probably there's probably a higher chance of Nicholas Latifi winning an F1 race. He's not even got a seat anymore. But we're going to look back at the camera screen quickly before we get into it. But yeah, should hopefully be a great race. Let us know in the chat who you think will win. I'm going to have a look at the chat quickly now. If anyone's in there, welcome in Shadow and Maze. But let us know in the chat who do you think will win the race. I'm just going to get everything set up on my second screen. Yeah, I am Shadow. I'm doing pretty good myself. Hopefully today we don't run into many issues like we did last week. I think all at the moment is looking good. We've got all 20 drivers in, so we should get started very, very soon. And luckily, because we've not got qualifying, we can kind of miss that 18-minute gap. So if we do need to start late, it doesn't harm us as too much as it would normally. But at the moment, from what I read off on my sheet for the starting grid, there's not been many other changes, so that's a good sign. We just want to get everyone everyone's in, so don't get why we're not starting. And I believe we are, because we've got a few people ready up. We've got 5, 6 people, so yeah, we should get started shortly. I'm just going to try and figure out if there's any delays of why. And nope, we got given the call to ready up now. So we will begin the final race. So just a reminder, TF need to score 41 points to definitely take it. FER need to score 15 points more than TF to take it, which if they was to finish how it started, it will be level on points. So there's lots of maths going to be involved today. So hopefully I can get my mental math skills at a peak performance, because I'm not an Albert Einstein, so when it comes to maths, I'm not the best. But we are loading in now. Obviously, we've got no formation up. It will just be the 5 red lights, and away we go. And there we are. You can see on the right side. Oh, no, you can't see on the right side because I haven't put it up yet. There we go. So you should be able to see now on the right side all the drivers getting readied up. There we are. So the lobby about to begin. We've got 20 seconds till we begin. And remember, Zelenkiewicz on pole, Koldun in Golan in second. Then the second row, we've got Ismail Fassi and Jerry Van Bussel. So it's going to be a great start to the race. Obviously, we've got to be careful down into turn 1. It's very easy to see heroics there and many incidents. And you've got down into turn 5. That can also cause issues. And down towards turn 6 as well. So that one will be very hectic indeed. And there we are. We are ready to load in. It's going to take a quick drink before we begin. And there we are, looking down the pit lane. The T-posing crew, as always. Obviously, you can see Dylan, Warren and Rishan in the Mercedes. And you look down, you've got Alex and Victor, Jerry and Legend. And then my eyes can't focus any further down than that. But it should be a great Grand Prix. Let us know in the chat as well if the sound of the game is fine when we get in to the race. Because I'm on a different preset of settings to usual. So there might be some issues there. But all should be good. And obviously, looking at the crowd, who look very enthusiastic with their faces that have no emotion at all, watching on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And we have 15 seconds till we begin. So let's know in the chat who's going to win the race and who do you think will win the championship. Let us know down below. Obviously, many teams, drivers will obviously be in support of them. But if you're not part of them, let us know who you think will win. But there we are. 0 seconds. The countdown has ended. And we now get ready to look at the grid. So we have Zelenkiewicz on pole from Colding Angola. We have 3 lights, 4 lights, and the 5th light here at Abu Dhabi for the season finale at EML. And it's lights out, and away they go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Really bad start from Coldorn, though. That's going to allow Ishmael Fassi to try and take second into turn 1. Yes, it is. There we can see Coldorn just letting off there, letting Ishmael through. There'll be no point causing much of a dispute there. We have Varga Boat on down at 20th place. He started 10th, so that's a big shame there. We have Rishan getting through on Legend Rosenberg. They're fighting down into turn 5. Legend with the inside line. Rishan going around the outside. Who's going to take 6th position? It's going to be close. And we also have there a spin. That's Zelenkiewicz. He's gone round. Then at turn 5, he's either been hit round by Ishmael or he's had a spin. And now that brings it. FVR 1-3. TF now going up to first. That's Jerry Van Bossel. Go for the... That's one of the FVRs there. Nearly been spun round on the straight. Down into turn 3. We have a bit of a collision between the two TFs. This is crazy. Between FVR and TF. Fight for the championship. They're not holding back at all. Rishan, though, now looking to try and fight for 4th position. But at the moment, it's TF first and 4th and FVR 2nd and 3rd. TF 10 are 5th and 11th. So they're not really going to be fighting for the championship just yet. But Rishan isn't going to hold back. And nearly a bit of contact there between Rishan and Coldon and Ngolo as they go 3 wide through to turn 10. And this first lap has been amazing. We've got someone joining Lobby Arando. They'll leave soon enough. But now we've got Legend and Coldon. This is for 3rd place. That's Legend being pushed off. Legend then going to still try and fight it down in towards turn 13 and 14. And that is a really close one there. But still, that's Coldon going off down at turn 14, but still it's starting to calm down a bit more. No, it's not, because we've got Phil McKay going for a dive bomb up the inside of turn 16 on Tim Bayer, pushing Tim now down to 7th position. Jerry Van Bussel takes a fastest lap, starting 4th, moving up to 1st. Great start there from him. Rishan now still trying to pressure Legend Rosenberg down in towards turn 5. We could possibly see a bit of a send there from Rishan. But that was a hectic start indeed. I did not expect that one to come out at all. Heading now in towards turn 5. Theon also starting to game. We've had a bit of an incident, or a battle at least, between Alex and Maximilian. This is for 11th and 12th. There we are. QRT having a great race so far. Starts off the first lap first. 11th and 10th will look down. We can see there them fighting side by side. That's Maximilian looking for a move round the outside of Alex Fox Johnson in towards turn 6. Just can't make it work, but he's still going to send it, isn't he? Yeah. We'll go for it up the inside. That's very aggressive there from Maximilian, but he makes it work. Still, as they go through, this is also Andreas Laff looking to also capitalise, but I think Maximilian has got the move, unless we have Alex trying to fight back down in towards turn 9, which we do. He goes for an inside manoeuvre there. Also, that's Tim Bayer blocking Maximilian around the outside, so he has to let off a bit more. That's 2 of them going off there. That's Maximilian and... oh, and there's a big spin. That's 3 of them round. The QRT and the TTL go off, then the other QRT comes round, and they end up taking each other out. So now QRT, after having a great start, and now down to 18th and 19th, and TTL 16th and 20th. Not a good start at all there from those guys. A bit more awareness could have been used. But we switch back to the front as we see Jerry Van Bussel still fighting for first with Ishmael Fassi. As it would stand, TF would win the championship. I'm not sure on what points, but I know for a fact that they would still win. As we go through now, down in towards turn 5, Ishmael obviously recently signed in also to Williams. So he's obviously one of the quickest in the lobby as well, having that chance to drive for an esports team. So we should definitely be putting some pressure down on Van Bussel as they head down in towards turn 6. Bit more ERS usage for Ishmael. Is he going to fight for the lead? I think he will. Down in towards turn 6. Go around the outside. Can Jerry defend, or will he just hang back for the DRS? They do go side by side there. Ishmael actually letting off. Go for a bit of a switch back down at turn 6. Nearly hitting the back there. Bit of a squiggle from Jerry Van Bussel on the exit, but they go side by side now, heading down in towards turn 9. Which one of these two is going to take the lead? At the moment, Ishmael's just ahead, but going up the inside will be Van Bussel. Van Bussel lets off, lets Ishmael through. This will give Ishmael a chance now with the DRS. Coldon also still defending there from Legend Rosenberg. I don't know now if there's going to be a bit of a tactic for Ishmael to try and hold Jerry up to let Coldon catch up a bit. We'll have to see what happens there. Going to get everything up on the screens, the track map and every other little gadget there, so you can see the telemetry and the map as we go through. And we've got an incident. That's Charles Sutton dropping down. Andreas Loff is retired on circuit. Is that a safety car? Surely it would be, but I don't think it is. No safety car at all. So thank God, please say that the safety car's turned on this time. But we go through now, down in towards turns 2 and 3, down to 5. Also got Rishan gaining a little bit there on Legend, but seemed to lose 3/10 on the exit there, turn 1, so not sure what happened there. But yeah, everyone now who finishes the race will score points. As Andreas Loff will take 20th as he DNF'd on lap 3 of 29. I jinxed them heavily by saying they had a great start. Unfortunately, it didn't end well because one of them 17th, the other one is out of the race. Both TTL cars pitting as well, so they must have had an issue. But we're now going to have a look at the tyres to see what people chose. Everyone went on hards. That was a pretty simple thing to do. I think it was obvious that they'd all start hard. But then obviously we have the two TTLs moving on to some mediums, but Axox Johnson moves on to hard, so he might have started on the mediums actually. Now, looking at the position, Dylan Warren, hang on, he's gained 10 positions in 4 laps. I did not notice that at all. Dylan Warren, 17th to 7th after 3 laps of the Grand Prix. Go for a bit of a Lucas Blakely strat there. Zelenkiewicz obviously dropping down to 10th, not the start he would have wanted at all. Both Ishmael and Jerry gaining 2 positions. Coldon dropping 1. Then obviously Legend, Rishan and Fion all gaining 2. Tim starting 5th, he's dropped down to 9th, not the start he would have wanted. Julio moved up to 11th, so NLR had a pretty decent start as well. Unfortunate for TVA who have both lost positions, and obviously Axox Johnson and Maximilian losing 6 and 7 positions on there. Opening 4 laps of the race. And we'll go back now. And Joe Van Bussel has actually lost the 1 second to Ishmael Fassi. This could be critical now for the rest of the race, or at least for the next part of the race, because it gives Coldon the chance to have DRS. Could be a possible FVR 1-2. Not sure if that would mean they would win, but they would score the maximum points possible of 55. Sorry. So there's a chance, but the issue that both TF and FVR have got is they're all within 2.5 seconds of each other, which means both teams are going to have to sacrifice one driver for a lap extra, because obviously they can't put on the same lap, as that would cause many issues of double stacks. But also Rishan trying to hunt down Legend Rosenberg. This is for 4th position. Dylan also moving up to 7th, so it's not over for TF10 yet, but I don't think at the moment it's looking that possible. Let us know in the chat yet again, who do you think will win the championship? Because at the moment it's going, I believe, the way of TF. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it. Yeah, just let us know. And who do you think will win the race? Because at the moment Ishmael Fassi has now pulled 1.8 seconds to Jerry Van Bussel. So this is now critical as well. If Coldon can try and get past Jerry, down in towards turn 6 or down in towards 7, then we could see Ishmael lift off. Then it'll be an FER 1-2. Coldon will catch back into DRS. Then it gives them the advantage again. So it could be interesting to see what type of strategy that FER are going to do now. Obviously, they've definitely got some inside engineers who will be helping them out throughout the race. So they'll know all the different strategies that they're going to try and hunt for. And we look at ERS power, 3% for Jerry, 1% for Ishmael, 60% for Coldon and 50% for Legend. So 1st and 2nd have burnt it all. 3rd and 4th haven't burnt any at all, really. Rishan's on 47, so they're all 3rd and below are all around the same amount of ERS, whereas both the top 2 have burnt all of theirs. Now, could we see a possible attempt of a manoeuvre from Codon to get through into second? The gap's 4/10, but also we've got Legend trying to fight the back of Codon in towards turn 9. This time we've got TF going for a bit of a tactical manoeuvre. Gets through on Codon, but oh, Codon's had an issue. That's allowed Rishan through into third now ahead of Legend Rosenberg. So I don't know what's happened there to Codon, but he's dropped to 6, so it must have been a bit of an incident there with the two TF guys going through turn 10. Rishan's capitalised off that heavily. He's now put himself up into third. Ishmael's still extending his advantage to 2.3 seconds. So doing very good so far is Ishmael Fassi. And Codon going to still be trying to pressure onto Theon McKee now, who's up in 5th. He's had a great start as well, moving up a few positions. So is Dylan Warren. He's still sitting in 7th. He could be trying to hunt Codon down in towards turn 5. But yeah, not quite sure what happened there with the two TFs and Codon. Seemed a bit of a 1-on-2 situation, so we could possibly see a report after that. I'm not quite sure. But for sure, that will definitely put Fiona at a bit of a disadvantage going into the rest of the race for the championship. Maximilian Luckert has had an incident with Kokadi Tamash. Tamash has actually gone off now down at turn 2. So he's either had a bit of contact or he's just lost it himself on the exit. We've also got Dylan trying to gain in on Codon. Obviously, Dylan not really fighting much for a championship, so he'll take everything he can. And he'll fight as hard as he can. And now Codon looking to try and get through on Theon McKee. Theon 3/10 back. No, sorry. Codon 3/10 back off Theon. Also, Rosenberg at a point of nearly losing the DRS to Rishan. So this could be key. And he's lost to DRS, barely to Rishan Jacobs. So now we'll guarantee to see Jerry possibly try and hold Rishan up to allow Legend back in. We'll have to see what happens there between these two. But now going into turn 12. You can see, yep, Jerry going a bit slow through there. The gap now to Ishma is 2.8 seconds. Legend now just hovering around that 9/10 gap, trying to gain back through. Not close enough just yet. We've also got Dylan Warren, who's gaining on the back of Codon Ngolo. Still, as we head through in towards the last corner, Dylan will obviously be looking to try and get some moves done. Gaining a lot on Codon, but it's not enough yet to make any opportunities from it. He's currently in 7th with 87% ERS. Codon's got 60. Fion's got 68, Legend's got 50, Rishan on 48. Then we've got the top two still on that less than 10% battery. So we'll have to see what Rishan's tactic is, because he might try and get through on Jerry. I'm not sure, though. We'll see when he comes out of the final corner what he's going to try and do. Looking further down, we can see Dylan Warren starting to gain a lot more now on Codon and Ngolo. This is down in towards turn 6 and 7. Will he make a move? I don't think he will. He's stuck behind just for now. Zelenkiewicz getting through, though, on Tim Bayer. That's now down into the braking zone of turn 6. Nothing really that Tim could do to defend that. Then we look through. Rishan gaining heavily on Jerry Van Bussel. This is now down in towards turn 9. Can Rishan try and take P2 of the race? He'll go around the outside into turn 9. He's going to commit to the move. Round the outside. Can Rishan try and make it work? No, he can't. He's going to have to go and switch it up to the inside, and for now just can't get through. So I'm not sure there if it's the fact that Rishan's going to let off, or if he just couldn't make it work there down into turn 9. But you can see now Van Bussel letting off a bit more, because Ishmael has now gained a second on him in that last lap. So you can tell the TS trying to close the gap a bit, just so Legend can stick within the second, because he was outside the second for 1 point on the back of Rishan. He's going to go through in towards the final corner. Dylan Warren still within 2/10, 1/10 of Codon Ngolo, but just not close enough yet to make a manoeuvre and to get ahead. So now come through ahead to turn 1, down in towards the end of this first sector. And the back, there's nothing really going on either. It's just the NLR's trading position for DRS. Into turn 5, Dylan Warren, a bit too far back for now. Can't make anything done. I think Codon went a bit defensive there. I'm not quite sure on the exit. But now, we look further up the grid. Rishan gaining still, but now we've got Legend trying to put some pressure on Rishan. We could see the TFs working together yet again to get some tactic manoeuvres to try and get Legend through on Rishan without losing too much time. As we now come out of turn 6 and 7, Rishan still trying to hunt down Jerry. The gap's 4/10. This time not close enough to try and make a move. And Legend also not close enough to Rishan to try and make a move. And Rishan gaining a lot in that braking zone at turn 9, so he's got a lot more, seems downforce, because he seems to gain a lot on Van Bussel. And Bussel there braking really early going in towards that 12 and 13 section. So not quite sure what the plan is. Probably to just keep Legend within a few cars distance. Tim Bayer gets a 3-second time penalty. So at the moment he won't drop any positions, but he will lose 3 seconds off the back of Teamer. Because obviously the gap is 3.2 to Rookie, and Rookie's got a penalty, so yeah, they cancel each other out. Rookie will drop down to 16th. Tim will stay where he is because the gap's... Actually, no, Tim will drop down as well because they've both got 3 seconds. Yeah, ignore that one. But looking back at the front, Rishan still hunting down for second. Had a great start, started 7th position, moved up to 3rd. TF10 making the best moves of all. 17th to 7th, 7th to 3rd. That is not any better start they could have hoped for there. And obviously Dylan, we said at the start, he's very good in the race, so it wasn't really much of a surprise he was able to do so well. And Rocky has now binned it down at the exit of turn 5, probably under traction or with contact, and he's now going to drop down to 16th position. He will keep 16th because of Kokanee being 28 seconds back, but it's not ideal. And Alex Funk-Johnson now gets a 3-second time penalty. So now penalties are all coming into play, and surely we could also see some from the top guys as well. We go through into turn on Rishan. You can see he's able to gain a little bit going through turn 9 into turn 10, but he's just not able to get close enough for all to make a move. We'll have to see soon. When Rishan soon will get a real opportunity to make a pass, then we'll be able to see if Rishan's pushing to get past or if he's just trying to stick behind, because the gap now to Ishmael is 4.6 seconds, so it's growing by 3/4 tenths a lap. So this is really ideal for, well, for Ishmael at FVR, not ideal for Kodon because he's dropped down to 6th. So realistically, Kodon would want to get out ahead of everyone else. So I don't know if the tactic could be a bit of a different pit stop strat. See if that can work. We'll have to see what happens there. But we go through. Still, Rishan hunting down Jerry, Legend, in about 3 tenths back off of Rishan. Looking further down the grid, we can see Dylan still pressuring Kodon. Tim Boyap within a second now, still of Team Zelenkiewicz, going to be looking to, I presume this will just be trading position for DRS. Have to see though, as he head down in towards turn 6, Tim with the DRS just doesn't gain too much time, gains a couple of tenths, but not that much at all. Having a bit of a slight lock up there into turn 6, but that's very easy to do. Rishan though, now starting to gain a bit more on Jerry Van Bussel into turn 9. We'll be able to see yet again, Jerry will let off a bit early, and that will also bring Legend Rosenberg closer, because Rishan's going to take a bit of a different line to get through. And you can see their tactics not so working just yet, but we all know what they're trying to do. Looking further back, Warren still on the back of Kodal. Tripkov now gaining back into the back of this train. This is now for, well, 2nd down to 8th. We can see with Jerry taking it very easy, it's allowing people like Tripkov now to catch up. We could also see Tima try and slowly bring the gap down. Julio gets a penalty now. He's currently sitting in 11th, so he will drop down to 15th place. So not ideal for both NLRs to get penalties within the first 12 laps of the race. That is really not ideal at all, because if they can get penalties in the first 12 laps, they've still got another 15 laps left to go. So more penalties could be applied to them. If you look further up, Legend still looking to try and gain on Rishan, and they kind of seem to let off now. They're not being as aggressive as they was before, so they might leave it to the pit stop phase, which should be around lap 15, I believe. On these hard tyres to mediums. Also got Phil McKee gaining on Legend Rosenberg. This is down in towards turn 6. I don't know what happened there, but Legend just seemed to have no pace. Oh, Legend hits the back of Theon. They're going to have a bit of contact through now into turn 7, and that's Theon through. Legend under pressure now from Kodon N'Golo. These two made contact earlier on in the race, and Kodon now looking to try and retake the favour and get back through. Dylan Warren also getting involved now, trying to take one or the two of them. Let's see there. Dylan having to back off, go up the inside of Kodon, as Legend's got the outside line there. Bit of defensive there from Legend. Going to allow Dylan to try and get the two of them. Defence going on really heavy now, going down in towards turn 12. Can Dylan try and get through? He's going to take the outside line, has to back off, and we go through, and now Kodon still losing more positions, was looking for a P5. Now he's dropped down to 7th. But we go through now in towards turn 15 and 16. Dylan Warren hungry for this 5th position as they go through, and depending on what happens with Kodon, this could be a possibility for TF10 to try and take 2nd in the championship at the moment if the calculations are correct. So we go through in towards turn 1. Dylan Warren about 10th and a half back on Legend. Not sure what happens to Legend at all, but he just dropped off completely, and Theon just drove past him easily. So we'll be curious to find out what happened there. But we now head down in towards turn 5, and obviously Kodon going through, but I think Legend played that perfectly. I think his main purpose was let Dylan through, on Coldon by blocking Coldon off. Dylan can then easily get a move done, then block Coldon, then have a bit of a battle with Dylan, keep ahead. And if that was the strategy at work, it worked heavily, because he's managed to keep the position, but also then make Coldon lose one. So that is very key there from TF and Legend for this Grand Prix still. So obviously 1st and 7th for the guys at FVR. That'll be 25 points plus, if I can work it out. Plus 13. So that will be 38 points for FVR. TF will get 2nd and 5th, so that'll be 25 and 15, so that'll be 35. So actually, no FVR. They're still going to be earning more points if that was correct. I'm not sure if I got that right, but yeah, if someone can work it out for me, it should be FVR with 38 and TF with 35. Obviously, it wouldn't change the championship because TF would still win by 12 points. But it does throw things into the ballpark for definite. And obviously, as mentioned before, FVR have got to outscore TF by 15 points to win the championship. And if TF were to score 41 points, which they're not at the moment anyway, they would win no matter what. TF10 have got to finish 30 points ahead of TF. 20 ahead of FVR. As we go down now in towards turn 6 and 7, Rishan now looking to try and pressure Jerry Van Bussel for 2nd position. And Coldon's come out 3.8 seconds behind Rookie, but he's pitting onto some new medium, so he'll be going for the undercut. We'll switch now to the tyre graphic so we can kind of see what lapped tyres people on. So obviously everyone apart from the 16th, 17th and 18th are all on used hards. We'll surely see some more pit stops this lap. We could even see a pit stop from Ishmael now. His teammates pitted early. Could be an opportunity for Ishmael to go for it as well. The gap's 5.8 seconds between Ishmael though and Jerry, so that gap's just growing more, 6 seconds nearly between those two. So I think it's pretty clear who could win the race. And there we are. We've got Joe Van Bussel into the pits. Ishmael stays out. So does Rishan Jacobs. Fionn McKee also stays out. So Legend also. Yeah, there we are. So obviously Jerry and Coldon being the early ones to pit there for TF and FVR. Could be more of a chance of Jerry pitting just to try and counter Coldon and go over a spin. That is Rookie round the final corner. We'll see Coldon. We'll see where he comes out compared to Jerry. As you know, right down in towards turn 1. This actually will be quite close between Coldon and Jerry. We'll see. You can see Coldon's going to push. Actually, I think Coldon might come out just ahead of Jerry Van Bussel. We'll have to see though as he comes through. Jerry comes out ahead by a few tenths of a second, but DRS and cold tyres gives Coldon an advantage. This is going to be a great pit stop here from Coldon. Could be looking for a net P2, depending on when everyone else pits. There we are, Coldon right behind, gets to DRS. Now he's going to be able to burn battery, and there's not much more that Jerry's got, so we're going to go down into turn 6 and 7. Worst tyres for Jerry. Coldon's going to gain into turn 6 and 7, going to go around the outside. Jerry's not really going to be able to fight because of these tyre, this tyre condition. Let me go through there. Jerry going to go and take the outside line. Oh, a bit of close to contact there. Still contact between the two. Going through, and Jerry, a bit controversial there. Hitting Coldon to get back through as he now go down in towards turn 9, and Jerry still keeps that 10th position. Well, keeps 13th position, 10 seconds behind the whole pack, ahead of Coldon and Golo. As we go through now, down in towards turn 11 and 12. Now I think, Legend's fighting with Rosenberg. No, he's not, because Rosenberg's pitting, so is Fionn McKee. Dylan and Rishan still stay out on lap 16 of 29. Ishmael Fassi, I don't think he really needs to worry about whether he can pit, because he's got a 6.5 second ledge over everyone else. And we look further down, we'll have to see, quick to Coldon, so we can see where they come out. Compared to Legend, we could now see a bit of, not blocking, but a bit of holding Coldon up to help Legend. As we go through into turn 1, let's see where does everyone else, actually, they're going to come out way behind. They're going to come out way behind, is Fionn and Legend. Let's see. They come out as second back. Fionn's come out ahead of Legend. And then we've got Coldon still trying to pressure Jerry Van Bussel. Obviously, this time we've got a better run for Coldon, possibly down in towards turn 6. The gap between Fionn and Coldon's just over a second. That's going to shrink now down just below a second. Coldon gaining on Jerry. Is he going to send it this time? No, he's not. He sticks back. So he's going to stick back this time. Legend going for a bit of a dummy move there on Fionn McKee. Down for 11th place. Obviously, Theon having a great race as well, getting out ahead of Legend. This is, I think, provisional P5 or 6 for Theon, but no, Legend's going to try and fight it around the outside at turn. No, up the inside at turn 9. Nice send there from Legend, but Theon's still going to try and ride it round the outside. Bit of contact between the two as they head through. Now down in towards 11 and 12. Which one's going to get out ahead? This is going to be close. Legend round the outside. Theon lets off, but he sends it again down into turns 12. I think Legend's going to get out just ahead unless Theon can spark a move. This on Kodon N'Golo gets a 3-second time penalty, so that could have ruined it completely for FER in this championship. I think at the moment it looks clear to be going to TF, but we can't say anything just yet because all can change in the last few parts of the race. Jerry Van Bussel takes the fastest lap, going on to lap 17 at 26.377. But this is worked out heavily. Jane Tripkov's going to come out. Oh, he's had a bit of a spin, nearly hitting the wall there out of the pit lane. So that's going to lose him a bit of time as well. And could come out behind Maximilian Luca, who's currently coming through in towards turn 3 and 4. Looking further up yet again. Theon now going to be trying to pressure Legend if he can. Legend's going to be under, going to try to pressure Kodon. And Kodon's still going to try again and get past Jerry Van Bussel. But still, Fassi staying out ahead of, we've got Fox Johnson with a penalty, but Fassi, Rishant, Dylan staying out the top 3. They're going to be looking to jump into this mix between the ET8s and the FVRs and the TFs. And we've got Zelenkiewicz who's staying out as well. He's going to be dropping out in towards P10, maybe a little bit further down. And Tim Bio will drop out just behind him as well. So obviously Team App starting pole dropped all the way there. Not sure what happened between him and I believe it could have been one of the McLarens. That would have been down at turn 5. Ishmael Fassi now pits. He'll be pitting onto some medium tyres. We've also got Legend Rosenberg trying to get through on Kodon N'Golo for 7th position. Obviously, because of the penalty, it doesn't really matter because Legend will get Legend will get Kodon anyway. But Rishan Jacobs also now choosing to pit along with Tim Boyer and Ishmael Fassi. Fassi will come out probably a few seconds ahead of Jerry Van Bussel, but we'll have to see as we now head down on towards lap 18 of 29, just about 11 laps to go. Legend right behind Kodon N'Golo, right in the rear wing of that McLaren. We'll have to see if Legend can try and get through, possibly move down into turn 5 because he's really close. The gap's just less than 1.5 tenths. Does he send it? No, he doesn't. He sits back for now. So just thought, yeah, maybe that's not the ideal move to try and make. Sits back. Rishan comes out behind Theon ahead of Tripkov. Now we've also got Legend trying yet again to get a move. We've also got Kodon who's gaining as well on the back, and this is TF yet again going for a bit of a tactical manoeuvre. Going to try and block, and this is also Kodon going to try and get through. Can't get through on Jerry, and Legend's going to try and get around the outside. Legend goes off track, then tries to take the position, but he can't just yet. Theo McKee also getting involved now. This is hectic yet again, and TF going for their tactical manoeuvres and just causes drama on the track. Kodon not knowing where to go. Legend up the inside there, going to get through on Kodon. Yes, he can, so TF now going through. Also, we've got Theo McKee looking to try and get through on Kodon N'Golo, but just can't. But Kodon's actually going to fight round the outside into turn 12, but just can't make it move there, and that's also contact. That's Theon. He's spun Kodon N'Golo around, so Kodon's now dropped even more positions due to an incident with Theon there, absolutely sending it into turn 12, and then that ruins it even more for FVR. And there we go through. So Jerry and Legend now looking to try and get ahead of Dylan and Team, and that will be more than possible, I think, because of the tyre advantage. We'll have to see. Dylan's always been a masterclass when it comes to strategy. We'll have to see what he can pull off. And obviously Ishmael, unless he makes a major mistake, he's going to win the race. And Legend, they're going to be gaining on his teammate. This will be more of a battle here between these two for just lurching each other with a DRS at this point. There'll be no point trying to fight because it just won't be worth it, because it's pretty clear that they're going to win, because now Kodon's going to have the 3-second time penalty. He's going to drop behind Dylan Warren, so that will put him into 8th position. And now we look back on, we got Rishan Jacobs looking for a move on Theo McKee. Then in towards turn 6. We've also got the two TFs swapping around down at turn 6 as well. Obviously just swapping around for DRS. Theon having a good race so far, sitting in 4th. As now we head down in towards turn 9 yet again. Rishan though also having some better top speed on the back of Theon. Burning his ERS. Can Rishan try and get through on Theon? It's going to be close. Also we've got Theon trying to get a move on Legend. No, Jerry, sorry. This is for 4th position. Rishan gets around the outside of Theon. Can he try and get through on Jerry? Not just yet. We'll have to see if he can try and get Jerry in towards turn 12. Rishan just going to back off for now. And there we are. Jerry probably thought Rishan was going to send it up the inside because he did block it off there. So obviously Jerry having to go defensive there. Now Rishan looking to have a little bit more pace. He's got better tyres than the two cars ahead. So this is a bit of a pro for Rishan to try and get back through. Fassi takes the fastest lap of 24.347. We've also got Dylan Warren cashing on the back of Jarne Tripkov for 7th position, also on the back of Coldrun. Coldrun's now going to lose lots of time because he isn't part of this DRS train. So I have to see what happens with Dylan if he can try and get through, because he will get through on Coldrun due to penalties. But then if he can get through on Tripkov, it would be a 6th position, which for Dylan starting 17th, a 6th position wouldn't be bad at all. He's burning his ERS because he's got absolute full tank. Now sends it down into turn 5 on Tripkov. Tripkov's going to try and fight back, can't do anything, so he's going to have to just hope he can get a better run, but he can't get a better run at all. So Dylan got to be hunting around with the DRS on the back of Coldrun, completely breezes past the FVR car. Then we've also got Shazoo there. That's Tripkov going for a double move. Can he get through? And Dylan down into turn 6. He's going to brake later, and I don't think he can. We've also got a battle further ahead. This is Rishan and Jerry fighting. Jerry goes off track. Rishan stays on track, and they go through. They nearly make contact between the two. Jerry's still fighting Rishan. They're still literally stuck to each other. Going down into turn 9. Does Rishan stay ahead? Does Jerry send it? Jerry does send it, and he spins Rishan round. That's Rishan off the trap there, down at turn 9, and Jerry keeps that 3rd position. Theo McKee now going to try and take an advantage of this and try and get himself into 3rd. But he just can't catch up just yet, so has to stick behind. Going into turn 12, and Rishan now 2 seconds back, and TF, they are making this, yeah, pretty... They're making it pretty clear they want to win, and I don't blame them either. As we go through now, down towards 15 and 16. Theon trying to still gain on Jerry. Jerry's actually lost to 1 second to Legend, so I'm sure Legend will just back off and let Jerry cash back into the train there. Vargaboton gets a 3-second time penalty. But out of all this, big shame for Coldrun N'Golo. He's lost out heavily. Started P2, dropped down to P8. We've also got Zelenkiewicz, who started up, on pole position. He had an incident on lap 1, dropped down to 12th. So he's now not had a good race at all. So big shame for the front row sitters, who are going to finish at the moment 8th and 12th. At the moment, the second row sitters are going to finish 1st and 2nd. That is Ishmael and Legend. So we go through now. Dylan Warren looking to get through his teammate Rishan. Rishan does let him through because Dylan's got better tyres and has most likely got more pace, no offence to Rishan. So there we are, Dylan Warren getting through on his teammate. Now going to be trying to pressure down Theon McKee. I see Theon sitting in 4th, doing pretty well. I had an incident with Coldrun afterwards, so that could go to the stewards. We'll have to see about that afterwards. And now Dylan, 1.2 seconds. He's got extra ERS than the others. He's got 68% and he's burnt a lot of it. So he'll now be able to use that to his advantage through this final sector to try and gain up onto the back of the train for 2nd. Obviously, Ishmael's now leads by 7.5 seconds, so he's really blitzed the field today so far. No fault at all from Ishmael Fassi. We go through. Dylan, 1.1 seconds back. He's going to have to try and gain a little bit more, about 10th, if he can get it into this final few corners. And he's got it. Dylan Warren back into the DRS train now. So they lost it all TF10 when Rishan got sent off track. Dylan got through and managed to gain nearly a second on that last lap. From turn 6 to turn 16, he gained about a second. So Dylan's got some enormous pace. He's got better tyres than Theon, better tyres than Jerry, and better tyres than Legend. So this is a great opportunity now for Dylan to try and possibly take P2. But honestly, every time Dylan races, he somehow manages to pull off some stupidly OP strategy. Obviously, in challenges last night, he went from 10th to 2nd, which that is a very competitive grid. So to go from 10th to 2nd there is immense. He's now looking, obviously, in this grid, it's a bit more of a higher score gap grid, but still, 17th to 5th. Going to be still now looking on the back of Theon for 4th. So Dylan, doing absolute mega, and just can't fault him at all so far this race. As we now go through out of turn 8, Zelenkiewicz gets a 3-second time penalty. So everyone 8th and, well, most people 8th and below have got penalties now. We've also got Dylan fighting with Theon now. Down into the inside of turn 9. Dylan sending it up the inside there. A bit like what we saw with Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez down at turn 6. And Dylan gets through there, puts himself into B6. Oh, big save there from Theo McKee. That would have been a scare for definite for him as he goes through. But perfect save, keeps it and keeps him to 5th. Dylan Warren now hunting down Jerry Van Bussel. So obviously TF 2nd and 3rd, but Dylan's going to try and break that and put himself in between both the Ferraris as they go through now. Down in towards 15, then into the final corner at 16. We've got 20, we're on lap 23, well lap 24 now of 29, 5 laps to go. So it seems pretty clear that TF, Talent Factory, will win the championship. But we'll have to see what happens afterwards. We'll have to see what Coldrun can do. Obviously he's got his penalty. But we'll have to see if something happens. Maybe we see an incident with one of the TFs or something heavily could happen here and change it all. So we can't, we can't write it off all just yet. Dylan now getting a bit of a better exit there with the better tyres, with the more battery on Jerry Van Bussel now. Heading down in towards turn 6. Obviously, Jerry's going to burn, Dylan's going to burn as well, but he just lets off. He thinks, actually, you know what? I've got the pace, so we'll just sit back for now. Let him send it. Oh, Dylan, it hits. Oh, it hits the back. That's Jerry round. So I talked about something happening, and it did. Dylan just hitting the back of Jerry Van Bussel there, sending him half round. Dylan kind of caught him, got him back into a straight line, but now that's not what Dylan would have wanted. I'm sure it's not what Jerry Van Bussel would have wanted. Theon McKee now going to go for a move. We've also got Rishan Jacobs getting involved. Can Theon get the two of them? He's going to go around the outside. Can he get through on Jerry? It's going to be close. They're making wheel-to-wheel contacts. At the moment, everything's going on now down towards turn 11 and 12, and they're wheel banging all the way through in this section of the track. Theon lets off. Lets Jerry Van Bussel through. Now we've also got them going side by side. Big slide there for Theon. That's also Dylan Warren trying to get through, but just can't get it just yet. This camera angle is amazing. You can see everything going on with this battle here for third, because now Legend Rosenberg's 2.8 seconds up the road, so he's pretty clear of a P2 finish. Utlio gets another penalty, but there we got Dylan Warren and Theon McKee fighting at the final corner. Richard Jacobs also getting involved as well, down into turn 1. He's back for now. Theon's got to send it into turn 1 on Dylan. Dylan goes wide. Rocky gets a penalty as well, but now Rishan going to try and capitalise on what the mistake Theon made, but can't. He has to let off. Going up in towards turn 5. Also got Jana Trepkov getting involved now. Everyone's getting involved in this battle for third position. It's immense, this battle here between these guys. 6 of them all fighting for third, fighting for that final podium position. And Koldon Ngolo, remember, he was 2.5 seconds back off this train. He's now nearly within a second of this train. So head down, Rishan looking for a move on. Theon McKee has to back off. Now he's going to try and take the inside line. We've also got Dylan Warren still trying to pressure Van Bussel, but breaks early this time. Knows not a good idea to try and hit the back of him. But we go through in towards 6 and 7. Theon still going to be trying to defend from Rishan on the exit now. Dylan gets a bit of a bad exit though, so he's going to have to try and push a bit more to try and get through on Van Bussel. Down in towards turn 9. He's got the better line. He's going to go around the outside. Can he try and get Van Bussel? Will Van Bussel fight back? He tries to. Goes up the inside there. Dylan's going a bit wide. They're touching nearly, going through turn 11. I think Dylan just about got it, but no, Jerry's still going to fight it down into turn 12 now. Which one's going to come out? Oh, they make contact! They both got off the trap there. That allows Theon McKee through into third. Dylan Warren's still going to get back on track ahead of his teammate here. This is chaos. Van Bussel now down to 6th position. And there we got Koldon Ngolo trying to still get back into this 1 second, because he knows, actually, with all this action going on, there's a chance for him to get back into this train. Maximilian gets a penalty, so loads of penalties, but not for this top guy. So it's crucial that they don't get penalties, because that could ruin it all. Trepkov now trying to gain back onto the back of Van Bussel, but crucially, Koldon is within a second. He's 7/10 back, so he's going to get involved now. As well as we head down in towards turn 5. Trepkov gaining on Van Bussel. Can he try and make a move? He's going to go for it up the inside. Trepkov up the inside into turn 5. Van Bussel's going to fight it back though on the exit. Van Bussel's going to get a better exit than Trepkov, but they're going to go side by side down in towards turn 6, and Trepkov had a great run there. And we've also got Dylan Warren fighting Theon McKee for third, but doesn't gain enough yet. But we need to see what happens here. Trepkov gets ahead of Van Bussel, so Van Bussel now down to 7th, and he's also, Trepkov nearly hit the back of Rishan there, going through out of turn 6, and that was a close one to call. But Warren now going to try and gain on the back of Theon McKee as they come through in towards turn 9. He's got way better speed going through there, and I think he's going to blitz past Theon. Theon's not going to fight it back because he knows there's no point. So there we are, Dylan Warren up into third position, 17th to third. That's 14 positions gained in 25 laps. So Dylan doing amazing so far with his pace. But Koldon is going to be looking for revenge, because he had that battle with Jerry. He wants to get back through. He can't let Jerry finish ahead, surely. So he's going to try and fight it back. And at the moment now, this brings it into the equation of FVR have a bit of a closer chance. I'm not quite sure what the points will be. We can work that out after the race. But so far, as we go through now in towards turn 16, now back into turn 1. Rishan going to be trying to fight Theon. TF10 would love a 3rd and 4th finish at the moment. They would finish, I think, best of everyone combined if they can complete this and get it 3rd and 4th. But Theon's got to be in the way, got to be disrupting them all. But we've had so many position changes on these last few laps. We've also got Timo Zelenkiewicz gaining on the back of Koldon. But Koldon's still going to try and get through on Jerry. Looking further up. And Rishan now got the DRS, got the ERMS, got the better run. Down into turn 6. Can he try and get through on Theon McKee? This is crucial. Can he get through? He's going to be gaining enough. It's 1.5 tenths. And he does. Does he send it? He does send it up the inside there. Has to back out though. Locks up. Knowing that would have been close to call. Trepkov now also going to gain a few tenths because of that mistake there from Rishan. But we now head out of turn 8 and 9. Theon's got a really bad exit. Rishan got a great exit. They're going to go side by side. Who's going to go out ahead? Will it be Rishan or will it be Theon McKee? Into turn 9. Theon goes ahead though into the corner, but Rishan's going to go for a bit of an outside line. Can he try and hook it up? You get better grip on the outside line. Rishan shows you do get better grip and gets through there on Theon McKee. Koldon Ngolo now trying to gain as Zelenkiewicz got through on Koldon. Didn't see that one coming. So now Koldon down to 9th position. And this changes it all in the championship more, because now Coldorn's not really going to be looking to fight back on Jerry Van Bussel. We've got about 2 laps to go, and everything's happened in these past 5 laps. It's been intense, it's been amazing, it's been absolute chaos on these final few laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Maybe I'm happy that we had the rerun, because we wouldn't have seen this on the first race, I'm sure. But we now go through in towards turn 1, and Trupkov also been an outlier in all this. He's had a perfect race, hasn't he? Not got involved in too much contact. He's just been sitting there watching everything unfold ahead. And he's benefited off it. Oh, going for a bit of a late move there on Theon. That was a close one. That could have ended in tears for both of them. And then we head out. Theon seems to be running a lot higher wings, because he's struggling a lot on the straight line speed, because people are gaining a lot on him as we go through in towards turn 6 and 7. Theon gaining on Rishan. Rishan's 1.6 behind Dylan, so I'm surprised Dylan wouldn't have let off and let Rishan the DRS, but I bet he's going to let Rishan just have his own back and try and defend from Theon. Theon trying to now catch on the back of Rishan. This could be a battle going on to the final lap for these two, Rishan and Theon. But also, we could also see Dylan just try. Actually, no, we won't really gain much on Legend, will he? And also, I've just realised the gap between Ishmael and Legend is 11.2 seconds. Kogan Tamish gets a penalty. That's Zelenkiewicz going round. He's fighting with Jerry Van Bossel for a 7th position teamer with his penalty, still showing that he deserves that win. Obviously not going to get the win, but he still wants to prove he's got that pace to do so. He gets through in Van Bossel, and Van Bossel now down to 8th position. Coldorn still down in 9th. We'll have to see what happens. A penalty now for Jerry would possibly ruin it all. As we head through now in towards turn 1. And the gap now between Theon and Rishan about 8 tenths. The gap between Tripkov and Theon 4 tenths. So now it could be a matter of a battle not for 4th, but a battle for 5th between Tripkov and Theon. This could be a close one as we go through now down into turn 5. And the gap's coming down heavily. Coldorn just sitting 7 tenths behind the back of Jerry Van Bussel. Van Bussel, they're trying to gain back on Teamer, but just can't do so. Victor Santana gets a penalty. We'll have a little look now at the penalties. And we'll have to see what penalty people are on. So we've got 3-3, 6-3, 3, 6-3, 6-3, 6. So yeah, lots of different numbers there all playing into parts. But they're all either one. You've either got 1 penalty or you've got 2 penalties there. We'll go back to tie-up as we'll go now. Down through in towards turn 9. Theon just not gaining enough on Rishan to make a move yet, but he has lots of speed with that DRS. And you can see he's used a lot more ERS than Rishan. It's now gone from Theon having more than Rishan to Rishan having more than Theon. Rishan gets a 3 second! That's not good for Rishan at all now. He's got down the exit at turn 9. That's ruined the podium, well, ruined the P4 chance at least for Rishan, because now it's going to drop him behind Theon, behind Jane, and also possibly behind Jerry Van Bussel. We've had a spin. That's Team Bayer spinning now. He's going to jump behind Maximilian Lukert, who's in 12th position. But now we begin, I believe, 28 of 29. No, we begin 29 of 29 now. The final lap begins of the race. So if you want to see some heroics into turn 1, Dylan Warren gets a penalty as well. So this could bring Theon McKee into a possible podium just about. This could be a chance for Theon to get a 3rd place. And let's see, what does it do for Jerry Van Bussel, however? As we look through, we'll look at gap to leader. There we are. So Van Bussel is 18. So it's going to be close between Rishan and Jerry, but it's going to be, I think, still clear for Dylan. He's 5 seconds ahead of Jerry Van Bussel. We've also got Tripkov fighting with Zelenkiewicz. Zelenkiewicz now up to 6th position. Getting through there on Jane Tripkov down at turn 6 and 7. As you know, come through. I think that's all the battle's kind of done and dusted now. We won't see much more going on at all. Everyone just kind of chilling where they are, but we're going to switch to the front. Ishmael Fassi. He's drove a perfect race so far. I'm not sure FVR will get the championship, though. We'll have to look at that after. But he comes through into 15, into 16. He's done absolutely flawless today. Ishmael Fassi into the final corner. Wins the final round of EML at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Ishmael wins the race. And Legend Rosenberg comes through now in towards the final few corners. He's had a pretty good race as well. 12 seconds behind Ishmael. A few seconds ahead of Dylan. He comes round the final corner. Legend Rosenberg takes 2nd. At the moment, it looks like TF will win the championship. Dylan Warren comes in to take 3rd. Rishan will take 4th, but drops down. Theon McKee, I think he'll jump Rishan. Yes, it will goes into 4th. Rishan comes out just ahead of Jerry Van Bussel. But great race there. Dylan Warren, 17th to 3rd. In my eyes, easily my driver of the day. But Theon in 4th. Tripkov up to 5th. Rishan finishes 7th. Jerry Van Bussel in 7th. Team Zelenkiewicz in 8th. Coldorn in 9th. Alex in 10th. Then we go down to Varga Moton now, the bottom 10. Varga, Maximilian, Team, Rookie, Victor, Julio, Kokani Tamash, Charles Sutton, and Alex Fox Johnson. But at the moment, I think it's clear to say that TF might have won it. We're going to go have a look in a second to see if they have, but I believe it looks good for them. We'll switch to the point system graphic very quickly so we can have a little look, because I'm really interested to see who has won this championship. And now, time to get the calculator out, because I can't do mental maths. So we have obviously Ismail Fassi finishing first. He takes 30 points, along with Kodon taking 9. So he will take 11 points. That puts him on a 41 score today. TF second, that's 25. And Jerry Van Bussel finished 7th, which is 13. So that puts him on 38. So that means the gap is 31. So they only outscored them by 3 points, which means the gap into the final, well, after the final round, I think is around 10 points between FER and TF. So Talent Factory, for now, provisionally, because obviously we've got steward reports, reports for warnings to see if they can all be removed and all that. But for now, as it stands, Talent Factory have won the EML PC Challengers Cup. Great season from them. Obviously having really good races all throughout, finishing on the podium nearly every single race. And there we are. We can see the final results. Fassi winning by 12.6 seconds to Rosenberg, ahead of Warren, McKee, Trepkov, Jacobs, Van Bussel, Zelenkiewicz, Coldwell Ngolo and Axafu in the top 10. But they're not going to talk much about who could get penalties, but we'll have to see what happens at the end. But great race from all of those. But TF, they've done an outstanding season. Obviously, FER was leading the championship until, I believe, round 4. TF got the championship lead there and carried it to the end. But also another team to talk about, TF10, they had a pretty decent race. Rishan started 7th, finishing 6th. But Dylan Warren, 17th to 3rd. Flawless. Absolutely flawless from Dylan Warren. So, in my eyes, he is driver of the day by a country mile. But if anyone's in the chat here, let us know. If you want a interview, would be very appreciated to get someone in. I'll have to have a look quickly if we can get someone in. I believe there's just a normal voice chat they can join at the bottom. Where's the voice chat gone? Well, yeah, great race there. I'm just going to quickly switch over to the camera because my face is red because that final lap, well, the final few laps were amazing. But yeah, I can't see a channel, so we can't get people in, which is a shame. And I can't make channels, so that is a big shame, unfortunately. Just going to see quickly, because either I'm blind or there is no VC there. I just don't want to, you know, I would like to get some words from TF, preferably. Obviously, winning the championship as now, but yeah, nothing. Well, that is a shame. It would have been nice to speak to the championship winners. Yeah, but I guess we won't at the moment. I don't know why there's not a voice channel for them to speak in. So I believe the issue was Ismail Fassi, who had an incident with Zelenkiewicz, because he did say, sorry, mate, felt like you braked a lot. So that's probably what happened down at turn 5. But we're not going to get anyone in. But thanks, everyone, for joining us for the final round of the season. Obviously, Talent Factory, as of now, have won the championship. So they will take home the £100 prize. But no matter what, you still can't fault FER and you still can't fault TF10. They had a great season as well. Obviously, always pressuring for that first, second, and third position. So I think maybe we had one more race or 2 more races. It could have been even more intense. But great way to finish off here for the full season. Great for me to take part in my first season here as a commentary. It was great and I enjoyed it all. Obviously, nice to see the chat support all the time throughout. And hopefully I'll be back next season, which I believe will be on the next game. I can't see them doing it on this game because we're near the end of the game cycle now. But yeah, thanks everyone yet again for the final time for joining us for the EML Challenge Cup. And we'll be back whenever. and make sure to keep tuning because we still have the PS stuff going on and the Premier 1 and Premier 2, I believe. So make sure to still keep looking at the YouTube channel for those races. But from PC, it's done now for now. So thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you next time. So have a good one and goodbye.